This is a disclaimer. This is not a how-to, this is not a DIY. So please don't use this as a how-to or a follow-along project, because that it is not. Also, I probably won't be wearing all my personal protective equipment like I should. However, when you are working with tools, you should definitely be doing so. And if you catch me without PPE, please yell it out in the comment section down below. If you see me doing something unsafe, yell that out in the comment section down below. That being said, disclaimer over, and let's get to it. Today is day 2 of working on the canoe frame, and today we're actually going to be able to cut out the frame that will be used in the boat. So I'm kind of excited about that. So right now I have the template laid out, and I'm going to trace around all of them. Now, I had to move this around a little bit, these 3 right here, because I actually need 2 of these. And so I had to figure out a way to make this fit up here, and I think I have that figured out. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to go ahead and cut some more off of that board, and that's not really that big of a deal if I do have to do that. But I wanted to be able to get a full boat on this sheet right here that I cut off of the big board last night. Now I should have, but I didn't put a straight line to cut on. So yeah, this definitely is not straight whatsoever. And next time I will definitely be doing that. So today I'm going to be using a different blade as well. Even though that I won't be able to do all of the little cutouts, I should be able to do that after the fact, after I get the rest of the thing cut out. And I'll probably be using the wood clean, which is right there, which is definitely a little more aggressive of a blade. Alright, so I'm going to get to tracing these out, and I'll show you guys how it looks before I start cutting. Alright, so I now have it all laid out on here, so let's take a look. So as you can see, I've got them all kind of close, but not too horribly close. The only ones that are touching are these 2 right here, and they don't actually go on the boat themselves, so it doesn't matter if the line is perfectly straight or not. So I'm not too concerned about that. They're basically just to hold the boat in place while you're building it. And yeah, so here we are. We've got all of them traced out. I put one front end right here, and I was able to barely fit the second one up here. So that's good. So now here comes the stressful part for me of cutting these out without screwing it up. Because, well, like I said, this wood is pretty expensive, and I really don't want to have to use more of it for this single boat. And in case you guys are wondering what I am listening to, I am actually listening to the Vigilant Wolf podcast. I will link that down below. It's my brother's podcast, and I've been listening to it just about whenever he puts out a new one. I tend to backlog them, however, so I end up having like 2 or 3 of them to listen to at a time, because I usually have more than half an hour just to listen to it. And doing projects like this is a great time to listen to them. So I'm going to go and I'm going to start cutting these out. Well, bad news. So I tried to use one of these blades, the thicker blades, but it just is way too hard for me to move it the way that it needs to move. And so therefore I ended up breaking all of the little ones, and I can't find them anywhere in my town. So that means that I gotta order some, or I gotta drive down to the next big city to buy some. So for the time being, I guess I'm kind of stuck with doing what I've done so far. And what I've done so far is I have gotten them rough cut out. So it's like this, where some of them I got kind of a main portion cut off, and they're all separated into separate pieces at the very least. So I can take them inside, and if I wanted to, I could even start to sand them down while I wait for the order of blades to get in. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that, however, it is an option. But other than that, this is as far as I can get to right now. Alright, so it's been about a week since I last worked on the frames, and I have new blades. I asked around and it sounded like Bosch was one of the better brands, and so I ended up buying 2 packs of these. They're nice and thin, so they should be able to make it around the turns that I needed, and I'm hoping that 5 will be enough, but just in case I do have 5 more. And I went with Bosch because other people were recommending their thicker blade to use on this. Well, I didn't want to go with that, but they said that the Bosch brand was pretty good, so that's what I went with. So now it's time for me to get back to cutting out these frames. Oh, and by the way, I got safety glasses today. And with that, the frames are all done. Alright, so as it turns out, that blade is about 1,000 times better than the original blades. I only went through 1. It never broke. So I've got 9 extras evidently. I will definitely be sticking with Bosch blades from now on because, well, they seem to be pretty darn good, that's for sure. Thank you to the people that recommended it to me because I didn't want to pay that much for it, but everybody said they're really good blades, so I went ahead and gave them a shot, and boy am I glad that I did. But it doesn't really hurt that I've got 9 extras because, hey, you never know how many more I may need for other projects. That being said, they did cut very well. There was a few little things here and there, like for some reason this blade really likes to kind of chip out the plywood, and it might just be the plywood, I'm not sure, but luckily most of them isn't too bad, and I was able to get around the curves very easily, very nicely, without having any problem with it. So as you can see, I now have all of the ribs cut out that are actually going to go on the boat. So the next step for me is going to be sanding these all down. I've got a palm sander and a couple of different sanders that I'll be using for that. While I'm doing that, I'm also going to try to kind of get them a little bit more even on both sides on each one of these, because some of the bottoms aren't, like you can kind of see it, there's a little bit of a wave in there kind of, and that side there isn't, or it's a little bit different than this side. So I'm going to be trying to get those kind of a little bit more evened out and a little bit more correct. Now for the biggest mess up is right here, where I started going way too far into it. And yeah, I ended up backing out and taking the curve the correct way. I don't know if I'm just going to cut that off and smooth it out real nice and kind of match it out on the other side, or what I'm going to do with that. Along with both of these, because these I would kind of like to be very close, if not exact replicas of each other. Now, just so you guys know, there may be a few weeks that there will not be a canoe project video, and that's because, well, I'm kind of currently working on cleaning out an area in a shop that I will be able to build this thing in, so that I don't have to build it outside and worry about the wind blowing it over and stuff like that at night. So that's going to be a blessing, that's for sure. But as soon as that is done, I will be hitting this very hard, and you'll probably get a few videos a week. So I'm looking forward to that. If you like this project and you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up down below. Make sure that you subscribe, hit that bell button so that you know when I put out a video, as well as leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you saw that maybe I did wrong or that I could have done better. And until next time, you have a good one.